नमस्कार सबैजनालाई। आज 3 दिने बसाइको अन्तिम सेसन निकै महत्त्वपूर्ण विषयमाथि हामी छलफल गर्दैछौँ। हामीसँग 4 जना प्यानलिस्ट हुनुहुनेछ। 4 जना प्यानलिस्ट मध्ये 3 जना प्यानलिस्ट हामीसँग भर्चुअली जोडिनुहुनेछ र 1 जना प्यानलिस्ट हामीसँग फिजिकल्ली हुनुहुनेछ। म सबभन्दा पहिले यो छलफलमा हाम्रो प्यानलिस्टको परिचय यहाँहरूलाई गराउन चाहन्छु। सबभन्दा पहिले हामीसँग मेक्सिकोबाट अनाही रोड्रिगेज हुनुहुन्छ, जो भर्चुअली हामीसँग जोडिनुहुन्छ र लामो समयदेखि उहाँ यो मुद्दामा सक्रिय हुनुहुन्छ र मानवाधिकारको सवाललाई विभिन्न सामाजिक मुद्दाहरूसँग जोडेर काम गरिरहनु भएको छ। त्यसैगरी हामीसँग हुनुहुन्छ, भर्चुअली रूपमै जोडिनु भएको छ क्यामरुनबाट सेलिन क्लेमेक्स म्याग्नेज एन्डेसिका। त्यसैगरी हामीसँग अर्को प्यानलिस्ट हुनुहुन्छ जो भर्चुअली रूपमै जोडिनु भएको छ आइभरी कोस्टबाट म्यारिजो ट्रालो। त्यसैगरी इन्डियाबाट हुनुहुन्छ ओम प्रकाश सिंह, हामीसँग उहाँ फिजिकल्ली हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँहरू 4 जनालाई आज हामी महिनावारी विभेदका सम्पूर्ण पाटोहरूमा छलफल गरिसकेपछि यो मान्छेको सबैभन्दा न्यूनतम अधिकार मानव अधिकारको पाटोबाट छलफल गर्नेछौँ। महिनावारी विभेदले मानव अधिकारसँग कसरी सम्बन्धित छ, किन महिनावारी मानव अधिकारको सवाल हो, महिनावारी विभेद किन मानव अधिकारको उल्लङ्घन हो भन्ने पाटोमा हामी गहिरो छलफल गर्नेछौँ। म 3 जना प्यानलिस्ट भर्चुअली हुनुहुन्छ र म ओमजी प्लिज म यहाँलाई सिट आसन ग्रहण गरिदिन अनुरोध गर्छु। प्लिज ओमजी हेभ अ सिट प्लिज। म बसेरै छलफललाई अगाडि बढाउन चाहन्छु। मलाई सुन्दै हुनुहुन्छ? यहाँहरू 3 जनाले मलाई सुनिरहनु भएको छ? हस्, थ्याङ्क यू। नमस्कार, मेरो नाम गोविन्द खड्का हो। आज हामी महिनावारीको सवाललाई मानव अधिकारसँग जोडेर छलफल गर्दैछौँ। विश्वमा हरेक महिना 1.8 बिलियन मानिसहरू महिनावारी हुन्छन्। हरेक दिन 4 देखि 8 बिलियन मानिसहरू महिनावारी हुन्छन्। महिनावारी भएकै कारण हरेक मानिसहरूले बहिष्करण, हिंसा, विभेद भोगिरहनु परेको छ। एकजना मान्छे आफ्नो जीवनकालमा करिब 7 देखि 8 वर्ष महिनावारी हुँदा यो समयलाई यहाँहरूले तथ्याङ्कमा निकाल्नुभयो भने निकै भयावह तथ्याङ्क आउँछ। 8 वर्ष एकजना मान्छेले निरन्तर खेपिरहनु पर्ने विभेद, हिंसा सामान्य विषय होइन। त्यो विषयलाई मानवाधिकारसँग जोडेर कसरी हेर्ने गरिएको छ? यहाँहरूको देशमा महिनावारी विभेदलाई मानवाधिकारको आयामबाट हेर्ने गरिएको छ या छैन? महिनावारी विभेदलाई मानवाधिकारको उल्लङ्घन हो भनेर मानिएको छ कि छैन? आज यो विषयमा हामी छलफल गर्नेछौँ। करिब 50 मिनट यो छलफलबाट महिनावारी विभेद, महिनावारी मानवाधिकारको गम्भीर सवाल हो र मानवाधिकारको पाटोबाट यसलाई हामीले पैरवी गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने निचोड निकाल्ने हाम्रो प्रयास हुनेछ। सबभन्दा पहिले म यो छलफलको सुरुवात अनाहीबाट गर्न चाहन्छु। अनाही, तपाईले तपाईको जीवनकालमा महिनावारी भएको बेला कस्तो खालको विभेदहरू भोग्नु परेको छ? तपाईको अनुभवबाट यो छलफलको सुरुवात गर्न चाहन्छु। तपाईले आफ्नो जीवनकालमा महिनावारी भइरहँदा कस्तो खालको विभेद भोग्नु परेको छ? महिनावारी भएको 4 दिन अथवा 5 दिन र महिनावारी नभएको बाँकी 25 दिन अथवा 26 दिन तपाईका लागि समान छ या छैन? सुन्नु भएको छ? अनाही, मैले अहिले यहाँलाई यहीँ रोक्छु। यहाँको एक मिनट यहाँहरूको अनुभव सुनेर त्यसपछि हामी प्रस्तुतिमा जानेछौँ। यहाँहरूले यो पाटोसँग, महिनावारी र मानवाधिकारको पाटोमा तपाईहरुले अध्ययन गर्नुभएको छ, बुझ्नु भएको छ, त्यो प्रस्तुतिलाई हामी सुन्नेछौँ। मात्रै त्योभन्दा अगाडि 1 मिनट यहाँहरूको आफ्नो यात्रा महिनावारीसँग जोडिएको विभेदको पाटो, यहाँहरूको भोगाइको पाटो के छ भनेर मात्रै जान्न खोजेको। म अहिले यहाँलाई यहीँ रोक्छु। धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। म त्यसै गरी अब क्यामरुनतिर लाग्न चाहन्छु। क्यामरुनबाट सेलिन हुनुहुन्छ। यहाँको अनुभव चाहिँ के छ? महिनावारी भएको 4 दिन, 5 दिन अथवा महिनावारी नभएको 26 दिन, 25 दिन तपाईका लागि समान छ या फरक छ? हस्, यहाँलाई पनि अहिले म यहीँ रोक्न चाहन्छु। धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। म एकैचोटि आइभरी कोस्टतिर जान चाहन्छु। मारी हाम्रो सम्पर्कमा हुनुहुन्छ। तपाईको अनुभव चाहिँ के छ? 1 मिनेटमा सुनाइदिनुहोस् न।
So, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I will speak in French. So, already, personally speaking, I have
हस्,
relax. So I had pain, and that was
thank you, Mary.
a discrimination in a way that it was it is very
हस् हस् धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद मारी छोटो यहाँको अनुभवका लागि धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद बाँकी यहाँहरूको प्रस्तुति हामी सुन्छौँ
and so it is so for example it is also a lot of discrimination against many other women because it's a very difficult subject to talk about. It is a taboo topic. So in the sessions where we could organize and where we could speak about menstrual hygiene.
हस् थ्याङ्क यू म अब एकैचोटि ओमजीसँग आउन चाहेँ तपाईँ पुरुष हो तपाईँसँग पाठ्यघर छैन तपाईँ महिनावारी पनि हुनुहुन्न तपाईँले चाहिँ महिनावारी विभेद भोग्नु भएको छ कि छैन तपाईँको अनुभव के छ
Thank you so much for the question. First of all, Namaskar, Nepal. Coming on to your questions, yes, during our program implementation in the areas where we are working, we saw number of discriminations in the society, in the families, and due to the stigma and taboos, and we are consistently putting efforts to eradicate those stigmas. But from my point of view, to be honest, whatever we would like to advocate in society or a family, it should be start from our family also. So one of the incidents, my daughter is 12 years old and she is menstruating, and many of times she said that, Papa, when you came back from your office, please bring back a sanitary pad for me. So this kind of a positive communication and I mean to say that and inspiration I have done through my family also.
यहाँको घरमा छलफल हुन्छ
Yeah, definitely.
हस् थ्याङ्क यू भेरी मच अब म यहाँहरूको प्रस्तुतितिर जान चाहन्छु हामीसँग यहाँहरूको प्रेजेन्टेसन छ त्यसकारण सबैभन्दा पहिले म अनाहीबाटै प्रेजेन्टेसन सुरुवात गर्न चाहन्छु प्लिज अनाही तपाईँको प्रस्तुतिका लागि म अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु 5 मिनट
Can you see my presentation? Yes, isn't it?
देखिन्छ
So my name is Anna. Sorry, first of all, because here in Mexico it's 2 a.m., so I kind of tired of the day. And I will rate my participation because English is not my first language. I speak Spanish, so sorry for if I miss something. I already talked about this, the stigma and shame that are still deeply rooted in our Mexican society. As I say, the survey found that 50, I'm sorry. Here you
अनाही म थ्याङ्क यू
55% of menstruated people feel shame or discomfort when talking about their periods, even with close family or friends, and even menstruating. 35% of the respondents believe menstruation should be discussed in private. I just want to remark that this was the first ever national survey on menstrual management in Mexico, and it was made by ECT Latinoamérica, Menstruación Digna México, that is my organization, and UNICEF Mexico. So this data is the only data that we have in Mexico about how we feel about menstruation. Okay, this was the most relevant data, and for me was the most eye-opening insights that I can imagine that the 80% of the women feel at disadvantage compared to men because they menstruate. And the second the second find that we have with this data was the lack of information and education. The survey revealed that more than 40% of the people learn about menstruation only after their first period. That means that the first menstrual experience was likely marked by fear, confusion, and isolation. Furthermore, only 15% report learning about menstruation in school. That is very, very, very low because it's supposed that all the books in a school have this topic. This is a clear failure of education system. The menstrual education is not optional. It's essential for bodily autonomy, mental health, and dignity. So we need a comprehensive menstrual education delivered from an early age that is scientific, inclusive, and free of stigma. And also, to contribute to this, I will share a little bit about Ciclo M, that is the first festival in Mexico dedicated entirely to menstrual justice, and which we co-organize with SCT Latin America and UNICEF. In this space, we brought together activists, artists, students, legislators, and everyday people to talk openly about periods without shame, without euphemism. Over the course of the festival in 2025, we held more than 1,000 minutes of programming focused on menstruation, panels, workshop, performance, art. It was our way to proving that menstruation deserves public, safe, and dignified spaces for collective learning and political conversation. So we are not only have this national survey, but also have this festival that is also the first festival in Mexico about menstruation. And other find is that inequality in access to product, 43% of menstruating people in Mexico have difficulty affording menstrual products at least once. That includes pads, tampons, cups, or any menstrual management item. For low-income household, this is not occasional, it's structural. Many resort to using clothes, toilet paper, or extending products used beyond safe limits. So this is not just a matter of hygiene, it's a matter of health and human rights. And nearly 3 in 10 people have missed school, and 2 in 10 people have missed work due to their period. This may be because of the pain, lack of products, or fear of leaks, and embarrassment. And this absenteeism disproportionately affects younger students, informal workers, and people in rural areas. And I'm very happy for this because like 3 months ago, Mexico expanded its VAT elimination to include menstrual underwear and menstrual discs, joined Canada, Maldives, and the United Kingdom as one of the only 4 countries worldwide with a comprehensive fiscal policy covering all menstrual management products. So in 2022, we have this elimination of VAT, but only in pads, tampons, and cups. And now we have all the menstrual management products. So we are very, very happy for this result. We worked so hard in the advocacy to make this very big advance. And the number 4 find was that menstrual health is not just about the period. And let's not forget that 42% of the response said they experienced pain during their periods, but many of them never seek medical care. Why? Because menstrual pain has been normalized, because the healthcare system is often dismissive, and because talking about period pain is still a taboo. The other find that we have in this national survey is, what we need, a rights-based approach. The data is clear as I present this. Now we must act. We need comprehensive menstrual justice policy in Mexico, one that includes free access to menstrual products in public school, prison, shelters, and healthcare settings. a comprehensive and mandatory menstrual education at all levels, investment in research and data on menstrual health, especially for marginalized population, legal recognition of menstrual management as a right linked to the rights to health, education, water and sanitation, and gender equality, and funding because the dedicate public budgets, menstrual policy remains symbolic. And this is our email, menstruaciondignamexico@gmail.com. And you can find us in Instagram as Digna. I don't remember how say MX. So we are talking about all the discrimination that we suffer here in Mexico, and this collective Menstruación Digna Mexico, we have a lot of advocacy, not only in elimination of VIT, but in free menstrual products, but it's not enough. We need more, and we need this funding because we have a lot of legal changes in very like 22 states of 32, but even if we change this legal framework, we don't have the money to to the public policy. So we need this funding because if not, menstrual policy remains symbolic, as I say. So we are done whispering about periods. Well, policies ignore us. It's time to move from taboo to law because menstrual justice can wait. Thank you very much. If you have some question, I can answer.
धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद अनाई। केही प्रश्न छन् भने हामी पछि यहाँका आउँछौँ। महत्त्वपूर्ण काम भइरहेको छ, थुप्रै चुनौतीहरू छन् र यहाँले मेक्सिकोको अवस्था महिनावारी भएको बेला विद्यालयदेखि घर परिवार समुदायसँग र राज्यले गरिरहेको काम र यहाँहरूले गरिरहेको कामको बारेमा बताउनुभयो। धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। अब म क्यामरुनतिर जान चाहन्छु। सेलिनी, प्लिज तपाईको प्रस्तुतिका लागि म अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु। 5 मिनट। Okay, please. यता देखिएको छैन, तपाईले स्क्रिन शेयर गर्दै र बोल्दै गर्नु भए हुन्छ।
Yes, but I'm trying to share, but it is not working. So please, can you share it from your side so that I comment it, please? Are you getting me?
हामी यहीँबाट तपाईको प्रस्तुतिलाई शेयर गर्न चाहन्छौँ।
Yes. To share my presentation for me because I'm trying to share it from my side and it's not working.
हुन्छ, म हाम्रो टेक्निकल टिमलाई त्यो शेयर गरिदिन अनुरोध गर्छु। ओके, सलिनी गो अहेड। हामी सुनिरहेछौँ। सलिनी गो अहेड।
Yes, I'm saying it is not working from my side. Can you please help me share my presentation from your side so that I comment it because it's not working from my side.
तपाईले तपाईको प्रस्तुतिमा भएको विषय राख्दै गर्नुस्। तपाईको प्रस्तुतिलाई हामी यहीँबाट शेयर गर्नेछौँ। हामी सुनिरहेका छौँ तपाईलाई। ओके।
I wanted to ask you my dear guest to carefully look at the two pictures that I have on my on the first slide. Can I have the picture, please? Okay. So on the left we have so there we have two pictures. On the left we have a stark reality. We have isolation, we have shame, and we have a lost potential. This young girl is one of the millions across Africa whose life, education, and dreams are being quietly crushed by one thing: period poverty. She is sitting out life, held prisoner by a normal and natural biological process because she lacks access, dignity, and a voice. Her future is being written by stigma and scarcity. Now, let us look at the other picture. No, at the other picture, at the second picture. Thank you. We see another future, the future we are here in Nepal to build. We see a girl who is confident, connected, and participating. She is empowered, not just by a product she's holding in her hands, but by information, access, and agency. The distance between the two girls is not years, it is technology. Today we are discussing in Nepal menstrual justice now. And I will try to demonstrate that artificial intelligence and digital tools are not luxuries. They should not be luxuries for the privileged ones. That they are the most effective weapons that we can use to uphold the human rights for every menstruator in Africa and in the world. Please let us move to the next slide. Let us move to the next slide, please. Okay, so today we have used a very simple methodology. We are going to expose to look at the elephant at the beast in the eye. So we are going to expose the crisis that most of us we already know, but it's always important to come back to it, to broadcast it again so that we all know, we all understand and know that this is the situation that many millions of menstruators around the world experience every day. So we are going to expose the crisis and unveil the link between period poverty, lost education, and health risk. Then we will propose a solution and innovation, and we will demonstrate, like I've just said, how artificial intelligence and technology can personalize health and optimize access. Then we will make a demand. We will demand access and advocate for energy and internet access because we cannot build anything today without power and internet access. Let us move to the third slide, please. Okay, so let us look carefully on the third slide. When we talk about solutions, we cannot afford to be superficial. We cannot afford to be superficial. The methodology that we use has three pillars. The first one, we looked at the lived experience, meaning that we listen to menstruators. We are on the ground. We work with people on the ground. We listen to them because if you don't understand the crisis, you cannot fix it. We listen to them, and then we realize that absenteeism rates are too high. In fact, in Cameroon, a girl might lose like 1 month during her entire school year, which is not okay. It's not okay. And because she doesn't have access to quality product, period, she will use anything that she can afford, like rags or leaves, to manage her period with a very, very high level of risk. Then we also looked at the depth side of the thing, the technological potential. We review artificial intelligence and we discover that today we have a powerful tool that we can use to solve so many problems, not only about menstruation management, but also to track and predict diseases and know how we can look after it, because you cannot treat what doesn't exist. You need to know know what's the problem before you can fix it. And then we move to the right side of the thing. And then we ask ourselves, in any action that we're undertaking on the roof, does our work protect health? And that is the SDG number 3. Does it guarantee education, which is the SDG number 4? And does it advance gender equality? And that is SDG number 5. And we see when we put everything together, the 3 pillars of our methodology, we got the answer that we were looking for, the menstrual justice. This is the key. That is the key. When we bring the live experience, the live reality, the power of technology, and the mandate of human rights, we had the answer, because period poverty is a gross violation of human rights. You cannot continue looking. Of course, we are already moving, and I am very happy that today we are talking loudly and publicly about period, which was not the case some decades back. Today we have moved, we are working, we are moving, and the result that we are seeing is very refreshing. It is good, but we still have a lot to do. And that's why we are here today talking and see how we can use the tools that we have today to help fix this problem. Can we move to the third slide, please? Okay. It is good.
I think you need to speed up with your presentation due to the time constraint.
Okay. Okay. So this other slide is just a concentrate of what I've already said. The key the reality that I have already explained, and the tech solution. I'm not going to insist on it again, but I wanted to just make it clear that yes, we have the reality, but we have the solution, the tech solution that we should use to help fix the problem. Let us move to the next slide, please. Okay, but we have a huge problem. We have the gaps, what I call the digital paradox, because without energy, we cannot fight period poverty, because you can give a pad to a girl in the village. If she doesn't have power, she cannot access the information in the app, even if she has a phone, because the internet is still a luxury for so many people. And the data bias is there. Many of the apps that we have today are made in the West. And it did not take into consideration the information about women in Africa. So these also need to be fixed if we want those tools to be really effective and help fix the period poverty that we are fighting. Can we move to the next slide, please? I think it is the last one. Yes, and the way forward. What is the way forward? Yes, we have to invest in infrastructure. That's what I've already said. We have to treat energy and internet as human right. It is not. It can't be only things for a few privileged. It is a human right, and everyone should have it, whether you are living in a urban city or in a rural area. And then we should also support local initiatives like AFAMI, my own organization, what we are doing on the field. We work with the people on the field. We know them. We understand what is going out, what they are experiencing, and we are better equipped to help fix this issue with the information, with data that we can transform into action. Without data, you cannot. There is less you can do. And also, we want policy integration. We want government to put everything together, because you cannot, like menstrual health, education, and digital access. It should be one strategy. You cannot fix one problem without fixing another one. It will not work. This integrated approach ensures that resources are spent efficiently, and that we are addressing the root causes of the problem, and guarantee that the solution for one area, like product access, is not a problem is not undermined by the failure in another area like infrastructure that are missing in most of the cases. So it's about time to start engineering dignity, and we can succeed. We can achieve that important goal by leveraging artificial intelligence and many other tools that we are having today. So I think that is the last. This is the last slide, and with that, I think my presentation is I finished my presentation. Thank you for listening me.
धन्यवाद मलाई सुनिदिनु भएकोमा. Thank you very much, Celine, for your important presentation. You talked about the scenario of menstrual discrimination in Cameroon. Now I would like to go towards Ivory Coast. Murray, may I request you to kindly do your presentation in 5 minutes, please.
D'accord.
Okay.
Est-ce que vous voyez mon écran, s'il vous
Are
plaît?
you seeing my screen, please? Let me know.
Oui, ça se
Ok.
voit.
Yes, it's
D'accord, ok.
visible. Yes.
D'accord, ok.
Okay,
Donc,
thank you.
la présentation,
So the
c'est
presentation
sur des réflexions
is about
sur
reflections.
comment est-ce qu'on peut
How
déconstruire
can we deconstruct
les règles de façon queer, c'est-à-dire
uh,
comment est-ce qu'on peut
the
déconstruire les
rules
règles avec des récits
with
politiques
the
et avec des récits
queer
queer
narratives
construits.
and political
Donc, déjà,
narratives?
il faut savoir que
So we know
la question
that
fondamentale de cette
the
réflexion
basic question behind this
était à
reflection
propos de
is
pourquoi et comment les discriminations
how
liées aux
discrimination
menstruations se
is linked
manifestent-elles
to
différemment selon
menstruation
l'identité de
and
genre,
how it
selon le statut
manifests
social,
differently.
selon
So
la
it
géographie de
depends
l'individu.
on
Donc, qu'on soit
the
en milieu
geography of the
rural ou qu'on
person,
soit en
it
milieu
depends
urbain,
on the social
qu'on
status
soit
of the
dans un
person,
pays
and
africain ou qu'on soit dans un pays
it happens in African
euro-occidental.
countries, it happens
Et
in
en
Western
fonction
countries,
également de l'aspect
and it
social, en
also
fonction de l'aspect
happens with
culturel,
in
certaines
social,
cultures,
it has a social
les
dimension to
menstrues sont
it,
vues comme ça, sont
and
vues comme
of
indignes.
how
Dans
menstruation is
certains
viewed
कसरी
basically. It's
महिनावारीलाई हेरिन्छ
invisible,
त?
dans certains sectes sociaux,
and
c'est
we
quelque chose dont on ne parle
also
pas.
see that
Donc, on a
र
it's
हामीले
not
par
spoken
cette
about,
réflexion et par
and
cette présentation,
in this
mettre en
यो
presentation,
lumière en
प्रस्तुतिमा
fait toutes ces
we
disparités
are going to
et mettre en lumière tout ce qui est marginalisation, tout ce
highlight
qui est
what
discrimination,
is happening in
mais
terms of
tout
marginalization,
ceci
discrimination,
particulièrement pour les femmes
and
lesbiennes,
we are going to see
les
how it
hommes,
affects
pardon,
lesbian
trans
women,
et les
trans
personnes qui
men,
s'identifient comme des
and
personnes
who are also
non-binaires et pour les
identifying
personnes
themselves
intersexes
as
qui
non-binary or
menstruent.
intersex
Donc, le but de cette
menstruators.
réflexion, c'est vraiment
So
de
these reflections
repenser ensemble la
are
dignité
about
menstruelle
rethinking menstrual
en la
dignity
dissociant en fait
by
du fait que
dissociating
c'est
it
quelque chose
from the fact that
d'exclusivement
it is
féminin. Donc,
something
lorsqu'on, dans
exclusively
cette logique,
female.
on exclut
So
automatiquement les hommes
we
trans
are
parce que ce sont des
automatically
personnes
excluding
biologiquement femmes,
transgender
donc qui sont
men.
menstruantes, sauf
So
quand ces
they
personnes-là prennent
biologically they
des
are
hormones ou
also
des
menstruating,
médicaments
and
pour
there are
arrêter le
they
cycle
also take medicines to
menstruel.
stop
Et
menstruation.
on a également les personnes
So
non-binaires qui ne
there
s'identifient
are
pas
also
ni comme
non-binary
hommes ni comme
people
femmes. On a les personnes intersexes qui
who,
sont menstruantes.
and there are
Donc, on ne peut
also
pas rester
intersex
dans
people
une
who
sphère
menstruate.
exclusivement
So they
féminine.
are
Il y a
also
également ces récits qui sont
excluded
liés au
from
fait
this
que
conversation, this
les
reflection.
personnes qui sont non
And there are
menstruantes n'ont
also
pas vraiment un engagement
non-menstruating people
effectif, peut-être
who
parce que
are
ces
not
personnes ne
engaged well,
comprennent pas, ne
because
savent pas
we
véritablement
don't
ce
think of
que
them
les personnes menstruantes
automatically when
peuvent
we think about
subir ou
menstruators.
endurer ou
We
les
don't know what they're
défis que ces
going through,
personnes
what
rencontrent. Et il
difficulties
y a
that they're going
également
through. And
la question de
there's also
l'identification
the
des
question of
mécanismes de
identifying the
socialisation des
mechanisms
menstruations,
of
notamment dans
menstrual
la sphère
socialization,
éducative, dans la sphère
especially in
sportive, alors que par
educational and
exemple à mon
sporting
niveau,
spheres. For
c'était
example,
difficile
it was
pendant mon
difficult
cycle scolaire d'avoir
for
ce
me
dont
in
j'avais
school
besoin quand
uh,
j'en avais besoin sur
to,
la
in fact,
question
when
de mes
we
menstrues. Et donc,
wanted to
on
engage
a
in
fait
these
une
activities
analyse pardon, du
and
cycle
there
inclusif
was
et
no access.
intersectionnel
And so the methodology is about of it, we are trying to deconstruct the dominant narrative that associates menstruation with motherhood and and there's also we see that there's a lack of inclusion, and we also don't think about different contexts. So I will talk about these contexts later. Um, so what we did was we tried looking at social dimensions. So we are talking about shame, we are talking about secrecy, we're talking about impurity. So it's a tabooed system, and menstruation becomes a tool for social control. And LGBTQI people who menstruate, they suffer double exclusion. So there is a medical exclusion, the trans men are excluded, and there's a social exclusion also, there's an identity-based exclusion also, and periods remain an imposed gender marker. So there's a cultural narrative that there's a certain perception of the menstruators. So it creates more invisibility. So when we look at the African context, we understand that the LGBTQI plus people seem to be invisible. They are not included in the policies. And there are also, we are also excluding people whose identities are not considered in the norms. So, so this is a question of social justice. It's a question of human rights. So coming to political dimension, we cannot ignore menstrual needs or just focus on cisgender women only. So even in rural areas, we see that there is period poverty, and we had a study done in rural areas, and we saw that this period poverty is a big reality. It's a factor which is linked to finances. There are people who are living in urban areas also who don't have information, they don't have the means to get menstrual pads, and all these absence of resources leads to marginalization, and it also reinforces inequalities. And to give a summary of all this, it's really persistence of taboos and cultural and religious resistance. And a colleague tried working on sexual reproductive health, but people have trouble talking about their stories, and there is a lack of narratives from LGBTQI individuals, and policies are centered on normative models, and there is also low engagement of non-menstruating actors. So what we can do is we can have an advocacy to have inclusive menstrual policies that are sensitive to gender and diversity. As organizations, we can also work on documentation of all menstruating identities. We can also support research in this domain. We can also think of integrating inclusive menstrual education in schools, in communities, in sports, involve everyone. and especially involve non-menstruating people, religious leaders,
Et puis, il faudra
and
aussi
traditional
qu'il y ait la
figures,
création
and
d'un espace de
also
solidarité
create
pour que ce
a
soit vraiment
space for solidarity
un
so
espace
that
people are not excluded. And to end
हस् मारी यहाँको प्रस्तुतिलाई बिट मार्न म अनुरोध गर्छु
number of realities,
तपाईँको प्रस्तुति सकिने क्रममा छ
almost done. Yes, I'm almost, it's almost done. I was just saying that we should think of menstrual dignity and how it is viewed, and we need to make sure that there is solidarity, not exclusion, and when we
हस् धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद मारी हामीले जुन प्रस्तुतिहरू सुन्यौँ त्यो प्रस्तुति मिल्दोजुल्दो छ धेरै परबाट हामी नजिकै मेरो पनि तपाईँ नजिकै हुनुहुन्छ र हामी छलफल गरिरहेको ठाउँ नेपालबाट पनि नजिकैको देश म अब ओम प्रकाशजी तपाईँको प्रस्तुति के छ हामी सुन्न चाहन्छौँ प्लिज
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Waiting for the presentation. Yeah. I am from Center for Catalyzing Change, and our organization always thrust on issues around women and girls. We equip, mobilize, educate, and empower women and girls to achieve gender equality. From my personal views, in last 3 days, we are talking about dignified menstruation, and I feel it is feasible only when menstruators have, without any discriminations, access to adequate resources, sanitation facilities, as well as privacy, gender equality. And this all aspects covers the human rights aspect also. In our organization, most of the projects in what we have done or we are doing, dignity with menstruation is a cross-cutting issues. Whether we will work on respectful maternity care or sexual reproductive health issues or adolescent health issues, menstruation with dignity is our top priorities. And I'm talking about here, I will talk about how we are engaging boys and men in our intervention areas in our project. So coming to the presentation, it's not moving. In our project, we have already transformed 15,000 families, probably who caters the adolescent boys and the family members with male. Our program pathways is totally simple, but it's in a unique aspect. Probably we have leveraged already. My friend, in fact, my colleague already shared this in first day when he was presented. Sports is one of our major pathway to engage boys, to sustain boys, to impart the awareness session with them. Apart from that, the champions, we create the champions in the community so that they will basically educate others. They will just impart as a work as a catalyst for them. Community engagement is one of our prime focus area, and leveraging the system, the government departments, the government programs, these are all sort of basically the important aspect of our program. I don't know what is the issue. Please move ahead the presentation. I don't know. Yes. Thank you. After implementing this project for approximate 3 to 5 years, we have done some assessment studies. We found that the understanding among boys on the menstruation is significantly increasing. Apart from that, yes, in family, boys are important, and we just get information from the girls that boys need to be aware. So we have done the various awareness session with them, and in our study we also find that awareness on cracking voices, those changes happening in the adolescent phase, emulsion and ejaculation in semen in sleep, development of breast, menstruation, increase in height and weight, and growth of hairs in the private parts. It's all about the growing up phase. It's also increases in our end-line assessment. Apart from that, receiving IFA and the anemia testing is also one of the important indicators which we have found increased in our end-line assessment. Some of the important things which I would like to draw attention here is about the engagement and support of school health ambassadors, because I heard from many of the colleagues from different countries in their recommendation that it needs to be incorporated the school system or a textbook, especially in our India, in the state of Jharkhand. We have already done this assignment. Government of Jharkhand already incorporated this in their school textbook, and the school teachers are playing as a role of a catalyst to create safe open spaces for conversations, enabling boys to understand menstruation as a matter of dignity, equality, and rights. Engaging boys in the community meetings, we are normalize the conversation on menstruation, reduce stigma, and create an environment of acceptance and respect. Open discussions in schools and communities are already happening. Increased menstruators' confidence to seek information, service, and products without hesitation and shame. Sustained messages has raised family and community awareness, help menstruators manage periods with dignity at home and in schools also. Way forward, yes, reinforcements of gender sensitization is important. Facilitate the access of SRH services. Definitely in our nation, in our state, there are several facilities who are providing the adolescent related services, basically the adolescent friendly health clinics. So we are encouraging them to just avail the services, seek the counseling, and community engagement and collaboration is the one of the important aspect which somehow increase the ownership of the community and build or remove the stigma and taboos related with the menstruation dignity. Thank you so much.
धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद ओम प्रकाश। तपाईँलाई अलिकति समयको प्रेसर पर्यो र समयमा सकिदिनु भयो, धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। अब यहाँहरूसँग समय सकिएको छ, तैपनि समय सकिएको थप्नु परेका कारण क्षमा माग्दै म 5 मिनट भित्र यसलाई ऱ्यापअप गर्न चाहन्छु र यहाँहरूका केही प्रश्न छन् भने म 2 वटा जति मात्रै प्रश्न लिन चाहन्छु।
नमस्ते, सरी, म पवित्रा गुरागाई, म पेसाले एक पत्रकार हो। मेरो प्रश्न, म सिधा प्रश्नमा जान चाहन्छु। आइभोरी कोस्टबाट मारीलाई छ। मारीले चाहिँ पिरियड पोभर्टीको कुरा उठाउनु भएको थियो। मेरो व्यक्तिगत बुझाइमा चाहिँ यो पिरियड पोभर्टी भन्दाखेरि यो जुन लक्षित वर्गहरूसँग जान्छौँ हामी, यो पोभर्टी भन्ने शब्द त गरिबी हामीलाई अगाडि नै थाहा छ। त्यसले लक्षित समुदायमा जाँदाखेरि उनीहरूको साइकोलोजीमा, उनीहरूको भावनामा ठेस पुग्छ कि जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई। हामी त्यति गरिबी त होइन होला, हामीलाई अहिले थाहा भइसकेको छ। हामीले स्थानीय स्तरमा उत्पादित सामग्रीहरूबाट पनि हामीले महिनावारीलाई व्यवस्थापन गर्न सक्छौँ र यसलाई महिनावारी व्यवस्थापनको एप्रोचबाट जाँदा के हुन्छ, त्यो जान सकिन्छ? मेरो प्रश्न यो छ। थ्याङ्क यू।
धन्यवाद पवित्राजी। अब एउटा प्रश्न लिन्छु म, किनभने समयको चापका कारण मैले बाँकी प्रश्नहरू लिन सकिनँ, क्षमा माग्दै एउटा प्रश्न लिन चाहन्छु। यहाँहरूको प्रश्न छैन। समयलाई यहाँहरूले सहयोग गरिदिनु भयो, धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। म पवित्राजीको प्रश्नलाई रेस्पोन्स गरिदिन म अनुरोध गर्छु। Mari, please. Mari, सुनिरहनु भएको छ?
I didn't really hear the question. No, sorry. I didn't hear the question. Sorry. No.
Try to translate it on Zoom. If you can hear
What
it
was
on
the
Zoom
question?
in the English channel, if you can hear it, I will try to translate the question once again. The question is, when we go to the community, you talked about menstruation poverty, and the people have the feeling that whenever they are talked, probably they might be offended when we call them poor or poverty. They will say, where we are not that poor or something. Can we use an alternative term such as menstruation management or something like that? Question was for Mari. Did you hear the translation of the question now, Mari?
Clear?
Oui, j'ai compris la question.
Yes, now I have understood. So, in fact, when we talk about the menstrual poverty, we are not going to, in a sense, is that we are going to enter into the explanations that here are the measures that you need to take because there are there are products that exist, there are tools, the means that exist to manage your menstruation and with all the dignity, with less stress, because there are people who have anxiety and who are stressed, and I'm also part of those people. So I do not have special difficulties to have the pads and everything, but it is a period. It is a time that is filled with anxiety between before menstruation, during menstruation, and after menstruation. And so we are not going to say it in a way that you do not have the means. No, we are just going to say that there are tools, there are pads, there are means that exist. Do you know about them? If you do not know about them, then we want to talk to you about them so that you have access to them. So that is why we have created a team that is, will also distribute during the sessions and will also explain that it can be used, how these people can procure them, and also how to find the systems that will help in continuity.
हस् हस् धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद मारी। बाँकी प्यानलिस्टका लागि प्रश्न छैन, त्यसकारण उहाँहरूको जवाब लिन परेन, उहाँहरूको हामीले प्रस्तुति सुन्यौँ। आज यो छलफलमा विशेष गरी महिनावारी र मानवाधिकारको दृष्टिकोणबाट हामीले 4वटा देशको अनुभव सुन्यौँ, मेक्सिको, क्यामरून, भारत र आइभरी कोस्ट। 4वटै देशका प्रस्तुतिलाई सुन्ने हो भने धेरै हदसम्म समानता देखिन्छ। महिनावारीलाई अझै पनि मौनता, लाज, कलङ्क र बहिष्करणले हेर्ने गरिएको छ। शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य, काम, खेलकुद, सार्वजनिक सहभागितामा यसको प्रत्यक्ष असर देखिन्छ। महिनावारी भएका व्यक्तिहरूको मर्यादा अझै पनि संरचनागत रूपले अवरोध नै देखिन्छ र महिनावारी विभेद जति व्यक्तिगत देखिन्छ त्योभन्दा धेरै ठुलो मानवाधिकारको सवाल हो। मानवाधिकारको सवालबाट यसलाई छलफल गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने जुन 4जनाको प्रस्तुतिबाट यसको निचोड निकाल्न सकिन्छ र यो छलफलमा सहभागी भइदिनु भएकोमा यहाँहरू 4जना प्यानलिस्ट र यहाँहरू सबैजनालाई धैर्यतापूर्वक सुनिदिनु भएकोमा धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।